Welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs and Fuego. We are documenting your journey, one digital footprint at a time. With me, I have the distinct pleasure of having Sarah Register from Directions for Wellness. You are a stress reduction specialist.
Yes, I am.
How do you do that? How do you get somebody to get their stress reduced? How do you do that?
Well, I have specific techniques that I use that are relative to each person, so I create a specific program. And I do this through a number of ways that really is about creating stress resilience, about how to align with a busy life without wiping yourself out.
Explain to me stress resilience. That sounded very interesting.
Yeah.
What is that?
So we're all busy. This
Yes.
is how it is today. And stress comes when there's something you care about. It's important to you. And there's something at stake. And so if you don't have stress in your life, it's probably because you're not engaging with what gives you meaning and purpose. So if we say, let's reduce your stress, then the risk is really, are you going to compromise what is really fulfilling for you by not engaging in what's important?
It is, in your definition of stress, do you equate that to anxiety, or do you treat anxiety and stress as two different concepts, if you will?
Anxiety is a symptom of stress.
Okay.
Stress can manifest in different ways, but basically stress resilience is really about how you meet challenges and adversity and busyness with strategies that help you move through it without wiping yourself out in terms of your health, your fulfillment, getting burned out. So I work with individuals that are success driven. They really value success, they're working hard, they're putting a lot of energy out into the world. And so what can happen is to maintain that success you've created, it gets to be like autopilot, or like you're the gerbil in the wheel, running. And if you keep doing your life like that, you're at great risk to lose your vision of what's important, to really be caught in these competing priorities and struggling with not enough time in your day. And so where I help people, it's about how you prioritize what's really important so that you can meet life and the fullness and the busyness in a way that sustains your health, your fulfillment, your relationships. So in a sense, what I say is I turn a stressful lifestyle into a successful lifestyle. And so I'm not really going to show you about how to disconnect from stress. I'm going to show you techniques that will help you really be resilient so you're not at the effect of stress, harming yourself.
What I'm hearing is that you have, stress is inevitable, and everybody would have different stress levels. And where you come in is you say, look, I'm going to show you how to take that stress that you have and manage it. You reduce it this way by prioritizing 1, 2, 3, this is how you do it.
Yes, and there's a lot about mindset that I really support. How to transform your mindset about stress, because the new science about stress says that stress is harmful to your health when you believe stress is harmful to your health.
But how do you break that cycle? And I hear what you're saying, but how do you break that cycle though, Sarah? Because I mean, you would have that individual who wakes up in the morning going, I'm exhausted. Dude, it's 6 a.m. How can you be already exhausted? Oh, I hate my boss. Oh, I hate the job. Change the freaking tune.
Right.
How do you break that cycle? How do you convince somebody that is in that mindset, like you're saying right now, how do you make him or her break that cycle? What do you do?
This is where I really support people through my workshops to actually have experiences where they learn how to shift the mindset to really change their thinking and their attitude about stress. So what's important is that you have strategies that when stress is happening, what happens for many people when you go into reacting to the stress, your energy is like out.
Right.
You're in your emotionality or self-pity or whatever's going on where you're triggered from the stress, and so you can't really think and respond and take care of things. You get overwhelmed. But if you learn how to really respond, okay, life is busy, I've got these deadlines, you actually have techniques to drop down inside, focus your energy, and take care of business.
Are they breathing techniques? Are they...
Some breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques. I do a lot with values, because I find that people have not really taken stock of their personal values and what's really important. And so where someone might get in trouble is you're working late because you've got a deadline, you want to be successful, you want to contribute to the organization or to your boss, and yet you've got to pick up your kids by 6 o'clock at daycare, and you have a value of being a good parent, and you don't want your kids raised by daycare. And then you have your partner or spouse saying, oh, you're working late again? And so there's the value of family, marriage, relationship, and it just snowballs.
You know, Sarah, that is a very interesting side to managing stress. We've had a lot of life coaches, hypnotherapists that have come through the show, and each one of them has their own approach to how to deal with the stress. But I think what you're saying here, I think is quite unique in the sense that you're incorporating the values into the stress relief. I have never heard that. That is pretty amazing. What has been, in your personal experience, the biggest stressful moment that you had, and how did you deal with it?
Wow, that's a big question. You know, I'm a registered nurse for 30 years, and so I clearly know the impact of stress on health. And I have personally experienced it because when I was a registered nurse working here at a local medical center, there was more than one time when I wiped out my health by how I was engaging with my stress patterns, being spread so thin, not saying yes to everything and not prioritizing my time, and just really overloading my plate because I didn't know how to say no, and I really didn't know how to organize my priorities. And so I would open the door to a health affliction and really significant health problems. And then I'd get myself healed, get on track, and get back into the groove of my stress pattern and wipe out my health again with a new problem. Heal myself, get back into the stress pattern. And I did this pattern a few times until I finally thought, hey, you know, I have to figure out a new lifestyle pattern because I keep opening the door to these stress-related problems, like really severe asthma, adrenal insufficiency, thyroid issues, terrible, you know, skin things like latex allergy, food allergy, environmental allergies, and yet I could always find my way to heal. And so I think, well, if I can heal myself, how can I support others in their healing? And when I learned it's really about the pattern of how you're doing your life. So when you ask, you know, what is the pivotal time for me about stress, it really is the multiple times that I kept really being in the effect of a stressful lifestyle, wiping myself out, being so exhausted and burned out that I wasn't finding the fulfillment in what I was doing, and I was just exhausted. And so I really had to have my own personal experience and turnaround so that I could find out how I could really support others to find their healing and to get their lifestyle transformed.
When you realized that you could do this for yourself, was that a cathartic moment for yourself and you're like, yeah, I can do this for myself and I can teach others how to do it as well?
Yes, and my secret sauce, my secret ingredient.
Yes. That's what I'm using. You're very, very persistent. I'm after your secret sauce,
my
man.
Secret sauce. Yes, I've been a registered nurse for 30 years and I have amazing knowledge in medicine, but what I kept observing as a nurse is that mind-body-spirit connection, that I took care of the heart patient right out of, you know, open heart surgery who had the broken-hearted story. I took care of the quadriplegic who lived their life like a maniac and all of a sudden all they can do is blink their eyes. And so I kept questioning, what is this resiliency of human spirit that some people live, some people die, regardless of how their hospital course is. And so what I've done for 13 years is study shamanism. And through the path of shamanism, I have a clear connection to the cause and effect of how you're doing your lifestyle, and really that mind, body, spirit connection, that when you have a physical health problem or something's out of alignment with your mind, your body, or your spirit, it's going to show up in your life. And so as an integrative health coach, I am integrated myself because I know how to, really understand that medical language and diagnosis and what's going on. And I know how to support people to really evolve through transformation of the work we do to get to a much better place of that total mind, body, spirit approach, that wholeness about how to engage with life so that you are really more evolved from where you started to where you end up by how you're more connected to yourself in terms of who you are in your mind, body, and spirit.
Do you see a shaman there?
Yeah, I actually study shamanism. I do a lot of ceremony myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so sometimes part of the work I do is I really help people to find their own connection, and I at times offer ceremony to help people to really transform.
I think being you, the most rewarding thing has to be when you're able to, with your teachings, with your education, being able to share with some others and see those lives affected in a positive way. That's gotta be like
it is awesome.
The most awesome feeling in the world.
Because you know what I love, what makes my heart sing, is when I empower an individual to truly evolve as a person. And it's not any one approach. It's a series of techniques that I use. It's mindset. It's a process of really meeting you where you are, because you're the expert of your life. I am not the expert of your life, but you can heal yourself if you have some guidance. And so I'm an expert of pattern of where you open the door to something like irritable bowel, Crohn's, lupus, whatever your heart disease. And I understand where do you need to change your pattern to evolve out of that. And so that really makes me unique, but sometimes it's hard to articulate, how do I do this? And so by calling myself a stress reduction specialist, this is like kind of a more narrow focus, because I see the connection of stress in our culture today, and so many people are really getting wiped out by how they're doing their life.
I have a couple of friends I want to recommend that they see.
Great. Yeah.
Because, you are just perfect for them, and I think that they will benefit very much from your teachings for sure. And also, I think that we should somehow consider a seminar here at the workshop
I love
here
that.
at the
Turn your stress into success. It's my workshop. It's lots of fun. It's interactive.
Turn your stress into success. Did you just come up with that, or you have that?
That's my programs.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really about, what's the good kind of stress to meet the challenge, perform well, and learn and grow. Beautiful. And how do you not go to that fight or flight where you really can't learn very well, you can't problem solve very well, and it's really about how can you run out of the burning building. We don't need that kind of stress. We need the other kind, like the athlete rising to win the game kind of stress.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this will make a lot of sense to you, because this is a Peaceful Soul t-shirt that we give to our entrepreneurs, and it's got some entrepreneurial teachings that we like to share with our guests. Virtues such as simplicity, discipline, humility, kindness, and honesty. Which
wonderful.
I think they're just right up your
all the
alley.
things that I really embody in my coaching practice.
If Peaceful Soul makes any sense or meaning or has meaning for anybody, it would have to be you. Thank you for being a guest of Enfuego, and we hope to have you here next time to do some workshops and some seminars that we can learn a lot more about what you do.
Great, I'd love to.
I'm stress-free right now.
Okay, good. I'm so happy.
I have no stress. I have no problems. We're out.